Hear you.
Moving on to the next thing, we have CSS, right? What does CSS stand for? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Now, why is CSS important? CSS is called Cascading Style Sheet, and its function refers to as CSS. It is a simple design language intended to simplify the process of making web pages representable. Now, if you look at the web page we created, we just have text, we don't have colors, we don't have anything. We just have pictures, and it is blank, right? So CSS handles the look and feel part of the web page. Using CSS, you can control the color of text, the style fonts, and the spaces between paragraphs, how columns are sized, how they are laid out, what background images or colors are used, layouts, designs, variations in display for different devices, and screen sizes as well as a variety of other effects. So CSS describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on a screen, paper, or in other media entirely. Why do we use CSS? CSS is used to define the styles for your web page, including design, layout, variation, and other things, right? Now, we also have a syntax, the same way we have a syntax for writing HTML. We also have a syntax for writing CSS, right? And the syntax for writing CSS goes thus, right? So CSS comprises of a set of rules or a style rules that are interpreted by the computer, right? And then applying to corresponding elements in your document. A CSS style rule consists of a selector, and the deceleration block, right? So now, look at this syntax we have um, in the diagram, sorry. Now you can see we have the H1. H1 is selector, then we have the color. So now, we're trying to style our H1 elements. That is what we're trying to do in this image here, right? So we have our selector, which is H1. We have the declaration, right? Now, declaration is color. Now, inside declaration, we have property and value, right? So the um, declaration has property color, right? And color has the value. We are giving the value blue, right? So our property value is blue, right? Anyway, what we're saying is that we want the property or the color of our text to be blue. And we're giving it a font size. Now, our font size is another property. So we have properties and values, right? Our property, we're saying the value is 12 pixels, right? Meaning that our H1 element should have a value of 12 pixels now. If you now want to see this come to play, now let me move back to my Visual Studio Code screen so that we can see that come to play. So now you can see that in my HTML, I have style.css created, right? Now I want to style my H1. So let me just do this, right? So I want to style my H1, right? Now what do I do? I first call out the H1, just the same way they did in the in the picture we had on the slide, right? So I do H1 and I do this, sorry, and I do this, right? Now inside my H1, what do I do? Sorry. Okay, so now inside my H1, what do I do? I want to give it a property, right? I want to color it, right? So I can just say color. You can see that my Visual Studio Code automatically brings out suggestions for me, right? It automatically brings out suggestions to make my work very, very easier, right? So I'm going to say, sorry, give me a minute. I'm going to call it, I'm going to give it color. This is not supposed to be happening. Okay. So I'm going to give it color. I'm going to say blue, right? So let me give it the color blue. Now I want to give it a property. I want to give it a font size. So I give it a font size of 40 pixels. Now let's go back to check my output, right? My browser output. What do we have here? Now going back to my output and reloading this, we have what? Sorry, I think there's an error somewhere. Give me a minute to find that out. Sorry, hold on. Let me upgrade the pixels. Okay, okay, I know what's happening. Right. Okay, so let me go back to my Visual Studio Code screen. Now, my CSS, I just figured out my CSS has not been linked to my HTML. And if it is not linked, it will not show. So now for me to link my CSS, I will just come here and do link real style sheet, right? And you can see that I'm just going to do style.css. Now, if I go back to my browser, right, which we're going to do now, is everybody following me? So you can see that we've changed our text to blue. How did we do that? Can anybody tell me? How were we able to do that?
Mm, you link the CSS into the HTML.
Yes. Majorly, we were able to style or add colors to our web page because we used CSS, right? So it thereby buttresses our point in my slide saying CSS is used for styling HTML content, right? So, and we have different types of CSS, right? There are three ways